welcome back into the Homestead garage here. So I just got back from the range shooting the old smoke pole, and I thought it'd be a good time to make a quick video on how to clean these suckers. And they're pretty easy to do. It's completely different than cleaning any other rifle. This black powder is pretty corrosive stuff, and you want to get it off your barrel really quick within the first day. You know, not like some of the other rifles. It's horrible to say, but you can shoot them and then leave them till you get a chance to clean them. But with these black powders, if you've got the time to go shoot it in the day, you really should take the time to clean it. So I just pulled out the nipple, so we'll clean that separately by itself. And obviously I've taken the barrel off of the stock. I'll just run through real quick what I've got set up here. So basically what you're looking at, I do my whole thing in 14 patches. And so I run 2 sets of 3 patches with just regular dish soap. And then I have 2 sets of 3 dry patches. And what I'll do is I'll run the first set of soap patches, and then I'll run my bore brush in between those, my second set of 3 patches, and then I'll run my 2 dry patches, and then I pour boiling water. So this was just at a boil a few minutes ago. It's still really hot, and we'll run that through to rinse everything out, and then we'll run these dry patches to dry it all inside. And then that barrel is going to be super hot, so hot that you don't want to touch it. So I got the mitten there. And I also use my dog leash. I'll show you how I do that. And then the last thing we're going to do, I've got some boar butter. And we just take the boar butter and run 2 boar butter patches down the barrel after it's all done. And so that hot boiling water is going to open up all the metal. It's going to open the pores in the metal. And then that boar butter will seep down into those pores. And then as the metal cools, it will close in, and that boar butter will be inside the metal. So seasoning it just like you would season a cast iron pan. You got to season these barrels. I got some lugs. I use the flexible range rod. This is a fiberglass range rod. I found that when I used the wooden one that goes with the firearm, it started rotting from just the exposure to water constantly. And so I went out, I bought one of these. They were cheap. It's like $20 or something, and it saved me tons. And this goes to the range. I actually leave the wooden one at home. Wow, that's hot. So today at the range, as I went down and messed around with the target, I was picking up little bits of lead. And so what I'm going to do with these little bits of lead is I'm going to melt them down, and I'm gonna make new balls out of them and shoot them back down the range. So I left the range with probably more lead than I left the range with more lead than I shot down it. So I'm at a positive net gain. Plus I picked up a whole bunch of brass, and we're gonna melt that down. Once we get this foundry going, we're gonna melt that brass down and try and do some brass castings and some things like that. So definitely, the only thing I spent today was some patches and some powder, and I came away ahead. So good day at the range. So let's go ahead and let's jump into it. Okay, and what we've got here is just a regular old bucket of water. And what we want to make sure is that the water is just deeper than the touch hole. It doesn't have to be very deep. I've probably got mine about that deep, and that mainly just for the weight, because when I set the barrel in it, I want the water to be heavy enough that the bucket doesn't flip over. I'll just take my first rag with some dish soap on it, just place it over the top. I've already got a cleaning jag on the range rod there. All right, let's see. I'm going to shoot this down, and we'll see how much, if we could see the black come out of there. And so the range rod is kind of acting like a syringe. And so as I pull up, I'm drawing water up that tube, so that entire barrel is going to be getting cleaned out. And I just run one patch a bunch of times through there. You can hear that suction pop when you pull it off the top. And then just do that same exact thing with the next patch. And there's someone making a duck call. Uh-oh. We lost our jag. Got it back. The jag came unscrewed.
Did you get it out yet, Daddy?
So that was 2 patches. And we'll go 1 more patch. About the trickiest part here is the range rod gets pretty darn slick with that soap on it, so that gets a little bit tricky pulling that in and out. Alright. So that's good for the first set. Now I'm gonna dump out this water. I'm gonna go get some fresh and I'll be right back. Okay, got my fresh bucket of water there. I'm just going to pull the head off my jag. And underneath that I have my thread and my cleaning brush. Oh, that thing is still hot. And then just run my brush up and down in there, especially down by the bore there, down in the bottom. Well, I'm just trying to loosen up the nasty bits in there, so when I come back in with the cleaning jag, we can get all that out. This range rod's pretty cool because it's got a ball puller built into it, so you just unscrew the tip of that cleaning jag and that ball puller's right underneath there. I have had to use that. Boy, is that terrifying when you're screwing into that ball knowing that there's a live charge behind it. I am never ever comfortable when I'm doing that. Like I said, fresh water in there, and you should notice, as much as we can tell here, see a little bit come out because that's what I just scraped with that barrel brush. And you can see a little bit of the water coming out the top is a little bit brassy, kind of rusty brassy color, and that's from the brush. And 1 more patch with soap.
Daddy,
Bless you.
Not be doing that because we're gonna go down to Clifton to give it a run.
Okay. The last patch here. We got it pretty much cleaned out with the patches. Now I grab my little 2-position dog trainer's leash. I find this works awesome because I can just clip it onto that ring there. It gives me something to hold on to. I can also throw it around my head if I don't want to hold it at all. I can throw it around a pole or something. But this is where the hot boiling water comes in, and so I've got all that soapy water in there now. I want to rinse that out, and I'm just going to use this hot boiling water So I just pour that whole tea kettle's worth of hot water down there. And now, boy, you got to imagine that metal is super, super, super hot. And So it's doing two things. One, hot water will dry much faster than cold water will. So so you won't have much water accumulating anywhere. It'll just dry itself off really quick. And the other thing is, like I said earlier, we wanted to open up the pores on this. And so now I'm just going to run a couple of dry patches through here. Each dry patch I run through should get progressively cleaner. And you can see I do take them off, I flip them over, and I run the other side of them as well. I've been shooting black powder for a number of years now, and this system works pretty well for me. Like I said, I can do it in 14 patches. It takes me 15-20 minutes or so. It's nice to have everything lined up before you go. That way you can just kind of bang, bang, bang through one thing straight to the next. Be done with it. So I'm down to just my last two patches here. I probably don't even need them. These are coming out pretty darn clean. Not much anything on that patch. I'll just call it good there. And so the last thing, patches with the boar butter. Just going to lay them right over top. And now I'm just going to gently, ever so gently, run that down there. All the way down to the bottom. A couple up and downs at the bottom. Right back out. I do like to keep mine heavily boar buttered, and so I've had to learn when I do go out to the range the next time, I'll run a patch down here before I ever shoot it, because there usually is a pretty good coating of boar butter, and I've had failure to fires because of that. But I found that every time I run just a dry patch, just run a dry patch down it, every time I do that, it seems to work just fine. All right, that's that. Gonna set this aside now. I'll go hang it up. Okay, so that was pretty simple for the barrel. It doesn't get much simpler than that. Just take them apart and scrub the heck out of them. It's kind of cool that you can use dish soap and things like that, because it makes it pretty easy. I usually do this right in the bathroom, right in the bathtub. But because of the video, I wanted to do it out here in the garage. And so now I'm just going to clean off the nipple a little bit. It gets pretty funky, nasty. So just give that a quick rub down. And usually I take the little nipple pick and I get in there and scrub inside, kind of break the carbon down that's inside the pipe. So that touch hole, so I'll get good firings when I go to shoot. And if you've ever messed around with black powder, you know that they don't go off every time you pull the trigger. Especially if there's a moose in front of you, then it seems like it's definitely not going to go off. Hi.
Daddy, we're going to the Cliftons now. We're on the worms.
You going to go deliver the worms? They're in the basket. So our neighbor found some baby birds, and we have the composting worms. So I've raided one of the trays there and pulled out a whole bunch of worms for him. And so yeah, I got the little nipple pick and just come in and make sure there's no carbon fouling inside there. Pretty simple. But yeah, so that's easy. And then you do get a lot of kind of fouling right around the hammer. So just hit that with a little CLP. So I put this Lyman sight on here. This is a Lyman Great Plains Hunter in a 54 caliber. And I went and bought this Lyman Tang sight for this thing. It used to have the elk horn up on the barrel. And I will tell you what, it's changed. This sight changed this gun incredibly. This thing is so darn accurate. About out to 100, 150 yards. Anything more than that, and you know, you got physics working against you, but it's super, super duper accurate. Even offhand, you know, offhand we're shooting clays, and then 100 yards, shooting a clay, shooting a piece of the clay, shooting a piece of the piece. You know, you can hit it 3 or 4 times, and it's just works really well. And I'm not afraid of this CLP. I put it on the leather, I put it on the wood. I just get it all over. I mean, it's oil, right? Oil and wood. It is what it is. So I get that all over there. Get that nice and clean and shiny. Makes the wood look really nice. This thing is just so much fun to shoot. And anything standing within 100 yards of me is toast. You know, pretty much any Alaskan animal I could think to hunt. This thing will take it down. I went on a buffalo hunt a few years back, and I was carrying a 444 grain hard cast lead flat nose, copper jacketed, sorry. And that thing, I mean, if I threw that thing at you, it would knock you unconscious. So we'll sit the barrel back in here and then finish cleaning off the barrel. Alright, this barrel is still wicked hot. I won't touch it. I don't have to. I've done this a bunch of times. Gotta slide in my barrel lugs. Okay, so when we cleaned out the barrel, we scrubbed the inside, but it didn't get much scrubbing on the outside. So you can see there's still a lot of powder marking on the outside of the barrel. We want to get that off just the same as the stuff on the inside. It's just as corrosive to the outside as it is to the inside. And so actually, I'm a little bit out of order here. Got myself a little discombobulated with shooting the video. Normally I wouldn't seat the barrel just yet. I'd clean this portion of the barrel from here down while it's still out, and then I'd seat it and then clean the rest of it. So I'm a little bit out of order, but that's okay. Just as I season the outside of the barrel, or inside of the barrel with the boar butter, I like to season the outside with some CLP. And so while it's still hot like this, I just come down and wipe it all down, give it a nice light coating of CLP. And the last thing we do is we just thread the nipple back in. There we go. Probably took me twice as long to do it because of all the chatting and talking. If I'm just focused and I'm going for it, it goes pretty quick, 15, 20 minutes max, and then it's good to go. So all right, let's go throw the ramrod down it and put it back up where it belongs. thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and give me a subscription to our channel. It's the best way for me to know that my stuff's getting out there and people are seeing it, and that'll encourage me to keep making more videos. And yeah, it's been fun. I like it. Hopefully you like it too. Thanks for coming by. And we'll see you around. Be well.